Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Figma Virtua Fighter YUKI AKIRA figure. Now this guy is made to look like he did in the game, which means he's got a lot of polygons. He's not smoothed out at all, he's very boxy looking, and I thought they might have some trouble pulling that off, and I have to say, they did a better job than I expected, so it's surprisingly well done. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 15 centimeters to the top of the head, which makes him right around 6 inches, just shy of 6 inches. So he's not the biggest in the world, but he's not particularly small. And he does have a nice aesthetic. It looks a lot like it did in the game. Given that it's an articulated action figure, I think it's a pretty nice likeness. The paint job, though very basic, is pretty well done. I don't really have too many complaints about that, and obviously the sculpt is what it is. So it's really going to boil down to articulation. We're going to get to that in a minute, but first let's look at the accessories. We have two interchangeable heads. We have the normal head with the standard neutral face, and then we have a head with a yelling face, which looks pretty cool the way they did the pixelated mouth. He has a total of 10 hands. We have the two fist hands that come on him in the package, two kind of gripping hands, two kind of open gripping hands, two relaxed hands, and then two karate chop hands. We do have a Figma display stand, and he has inside of his package, don't forget to get this out behind the cardboard sleeve, a kind of paper, not kind of, it is a paper mat which looks like the stages with the pixelated artwork on there. So that's pretty cool. Not an incredible amount of accessories, but definitely enough. As far as the articulation goes, they kind of screwed up the head because they did one of those weird offset ball peg hinge combinations, which makes him look really weird when he looks up. And looking down doesn't really work, and then rotating it is okay. So it's definitely not great, but it's probably something you can live with. You just have to kind of play around with it. The neck is on a single ball peg. It's actually the neck itself pegs in, so it'll move around a little bit, but not a whole lot. The shoulders have a ball peg going into the torso and then a hinge for the arm itself, which does allow the arm to come out all the way, which is a good thing. You can of course rotate that all the way around. You do get a little bit of a bicep swivel out of it, and it's actually better than I expected, so that's okay. If you need more of a bicep swivel, you can just rotate the elbow hinge around, which does look a little bit odd when the arm is straight down, but it works surprisingly well once you bring the arm up. You get better than 90 degrees, and it's not even visible from the front really at all, so that's a good thing. And then for the wrist, it's very tiny, but you have a ball hinge. Be careful with that because you could possibly break it. It's very, very tiny. For the torso, we have a double ball peg between the middle torso and the upper torso, so you can move that around. Doesn't have the best range, but it's not too bad. And then, of course, it'll lean a little bit back, which is actually more than I thought it would. And then it leans a little bit forward, not so much. Side to side, you do get a little bit out of it. You get more out of the lower torso, which has a ball peg that moves around completely. You can rotate it around 100% and lean it in any direction you want. These guys are connected to that torso so that they line up with the upper body rather than the lower body, so that's a good thing. This piece here is a floating crotch piece, so it won't really get in the way too much. And it's a good thing because the hips have surprisingly good range. You can bring the legs out almost all the way. That's very nice. I was not expecting that. And then the same thing for going out to the side. Really good range on this guy. He does have a thigh swivel underneath that ball peg where the hips are connected, but it doesn't work all that well. It's very limited, so be aware of that. For the knees, I really like this knee joint. I wasn't expecting it to work as well as it does. It's kind of boxy looking, no pun intended, on the outside, but once he bends it, it basically fills itself in, which is how they need to do more knee joints. There is a little bit of a gap that I think they could have worked on a little bit more, but it's still a surprisingly good knee joint given the baggy pants and the polygonal, I don't know how to say that, nature of the figure. Lastly, we have our ankle hinge, which is a standard Figma hinge, which leans pretty far back, pretty far forward, and if you need to, you can rotate it around for a complete ankle rocker. So I have to say, this guy is a way better figure than I thought he would be. And if you're a Virtua Fighter fan, if you played this as a kid, if it brings back the feels, you should pick up this figure. It's surprisingly good. I'm not one to personally want to buy it because I never played the game, but it's a really solid figure and I have to recommend it. Very good. There's the peg hole, by the way, for the stand, and this is a fixed tassel or bandana, so just be aware of that. So yeah, I like it. I think you guys will like it too. If you're a fan of the game, definitely pick it up. If you're just a fan of unique figures, go ahead and pick it up. It's gonna satisfy that unique need, that little itch you're trying to scratch. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day, so make sure you come back for those. We talk about movies, TV shows, video games, obviously action figures, all kinds of fun stuff. And also, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. That does help me out a whole bunch. I do appreciate that. So come back for that stuff, and in the meantime, keep collecting.